All right, everybody, I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart, both published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Animal Farm by George Orwell. Yeah, it came out in 1946. We always talk about the covers first. What can we say about this cover? Well, whatever. It is what it is. I do love graphic design and illustration. That's why we always give it a rating. I like it. It kind of matches up with this book over here, 1984. So it's all right. Maybe you guys saw my book haul when I book hauled these a couple months ago and said I was going to read them. I have not read them before. However, and I don't know why I subject myself to this torture, people. I don't know why I subject myself to this torture. Because if you've been following this channel, I have a history of... I have a terrible history with books that include talking animals. If you don't believe me, just go watch my review of Redwall, or Mossflower, or Tail Chaser's Song by Tad Williams. Although I loved that one. Actually, I kind of liked them all. But I got issues with talking animal books because especially in the... and then there's the one about the rabbits. What the hell's that? Watership Down. Oh my God. Talking, and I'm starting to get myself worked up into a rage already just thinking about Watership Down. Oh, Lordy have mercy. Whenever animals start talking in books, I just go bananas. My mind can't grasp any of it. My mind I can read sci-fi, I can read fantasy, I can read the most far out stories on the planet, but when animals start talking, it blows my mind. I'm just like crazy. I'm losing it already. I'm losing it, folks, already. Redwall, I had a problem with the scale of things. Sometimes it seemed like the animals were little teeny, and then sometimes it seemed like they were the size of humans. Go watch my video of that if you want to get a deeper appreciation for how much I was bothered by all that. Although it was a good story. I liked it, the story, but the animals. And then the Watership Down, oh my Lord. And now this one actually made sense. The only problem was animals were talking politics throughout the whole thing. So the scale made sense. These were animals living on an English farm where there's normal humans, normal animals. They live on an English farm. They work for the farmer. And everything seems normal to me. And then the animals start talking. They have little meeting. The farmer goes into his house and the animals throw like a little Amway meeting or, a little multi-level marketing thing in their barn. And they all gather around to hear the pigs that, have and then there's this pig that Major the pig has a dream. And he says, okay, man, in my dream, I found, humans are bad. Things that walk on two legs, bad. Things that walk on four legs or fly, good. So let's kill the humans and let's run our own society, because here at the farm, all we're doing is slave labor for these jackass humans, right? And all the animals are like, some of the animals are like, yeah, man, you're right, man. Revolution, revolution. And some of the other animals are like, let's think of this over a little bit. And so they hold a vote. And I gotta admit, there are some funny parts of this book. They hold a vote. And everybody votes, do they want a revolution or not? And then they count the votes and they find out that the cat, who wasn't even paying attention to begin with, voted twice, and all sorts of weird stuff. And then they've got this pretty pony that, just goes with whatever, but she kind of likes the humans. And so she's just like, well, she doesn't want to revolution because she thinks that the nice, cute little red bows that the humans tie in her mane, well, they're not going to do that anymore. I won't get little pretty bows in my mane. I don't think I want to kill the humans. So she's kind of conflicted, and then the pigs are like, well, this traitors, rats. There's rats, and then there are rats. The rats are rats, they rat. And there's a raven that rats out. And there's a lot of stuff, but the main thrust of this book is, and I started to really enjoy it, because they do kill the humans. They chase the humans off the farm, and then they got to come up with their own society. And of course, they come up with these 7 rules of the society, which are just like basically like, socialist kind of things. Well, it's not really. It actually sounds kind of decent, if everybody lives by them. But of course, the pigs get the power, and the pigs start to have their little spies. I mean, it's very much this is a allegory about government, and no matter who we put in government, the power is going to go to their head, because over time the 7 rules for their animal farm society start to change. It's like the Constitution of the United States is kind of like, the Declaration. It's like all of the we can change the things, as they suit us as we go along. Like, for instance, one of the rules is no animal shall ever be killed. But then the pigs decide some animals actually do kind of need to be killed because they're mouthing off and acting up and causing strife. So then the rules, no animal shall ever be killed without just cause. And some of the other animals are like, they notice that the rules are changing, and they're like, wait a minute, that's not what we signed off on to begin with. And so, but the pigs sort of are the smart ones of the group, and they're kind of the ringleaders of all and they build kind of like a little army, and then they start executing some of the other animals that aren't behaving. The whole thing is an allegory on government gone wacko, and like not trusting anybody to be benevolent enough. And that's the thing is, I read some essays on George Orwell and why he did this. And it's kind of like he considered himself a democratic socialist back before World War II, when Hitler was coming to power and the Soviet Union was in power, and there were these two conflicting kind of things. And I don't want to get into it too much, but communism was... At the time, everybody thought, well, communism is at least better than what Hitler's doing, and so we should model ourselves after communism. But even the conservatives were certainly against that, and even a lot of the democratic socialists were like, hey, wait a minute, Stalin ain't the greatest dude. And it's kind of like he's like they're putting this, George Orwell's kind of like warning the social, because he's a socialist himself, and he knows that socialism can go too far, and that's how you end up with, the Hitlers and the Stalins and the things like this, is you give too many, you think that you're giving benevolent people power and they're going to do the right thing with it. But they don't. And you can see that even in our own American democracy. Do you trust any of those people in our government, in our democratic government? Would you trust any of them with total power? No. Why would you trust them with total power? So it's like, who is the thrust of this story is, who is it out there? What one person or one entity out there is good enough to withstand the power that they can wield over everybody else? Well, there's nobody, really. Absolutely nobody could. I mean, eventually, even as good of a person as I am, as I think I am, if you were to make me king of the world, there are decisions that I would make that I would think that are good for people that would actually be damaging to some people. Might be good for some people, but damaging to others. That's the reason that you just don't want to place all your eggs in one basket. And I think that's what this is about. I don't know. I read a lot of essays about the guy, and I think I got the major concept is the animals were talking. And this is the first talking animal book that didn't really annoy the ever-loving out of me. I liked it. Now, the political message, I get it, and I got it, and I was entertained by how the animals were starting to realize what's going on with the ruling class of pigs. And if you've read this, you know what I'm talking about. And you can have your own interpretations of it. Like I said, there's an essay in this book. There's an essay in the front, and then there's an essay in the back that are written by two different people that sort of conflict with each other. And I think they put those essays in here on purpose just to spark debate about, democracy, socialism, communism, fascism, because the two essays don't agree with each other. And so I kind of appreciated that they did that. Anyway, what did I think of Animal Farm? That's a decent story. I would have... kind of like it. Now I'm interested to read 1984 because I don't really know what that one's about. But we'll give this a 9 out of... No, I don't want to give it a 9. I'm going to drop it to 8.5 Because it was about animals. 8.5 out of 10. Animal Farm.